Welcome back, true believers and all you merry Marvelites, to another very interesting episode of Marvel's Avengers 101. So we are once again continuing on with the hero weeks that the Avengers Project's Twitter page is diving into, and after we wrapped up everything relating to Thor, we're now moving on to the newest character with that of Kamala Khan as Miss Marvel. And while the game is releasing a bunch of new information at New York Comic Con itself, it's really nice to know that the fans who aren't able to attend are still getting informed nonetheless. And as you'd expect, after we finally got some gameplay snippets of her in action using her Embiggen powers, we now have a full-on deep dive to 2 out of her 3 heroic abilities within the game. Now for me personally, I don't really understand why they're not just fully unveiling what all of the heroic abilities are within these hero weeks, considering that they did the exact same thing with Iron Man and Black Widow. However, the worst contender out of all these heroes so far has definitely been Iron Man, considering that we only got 1 of his 3 heroic abilities revealed, with that of his assault move with his Unibeam. And given that the Marvel's Avengers Twitter page are trying to play off of the spy aspect for Black Widow, they did want to keep her ultimate ability a pure secret. And once again, for some reason, we now have a full-on analysis as to how Kamala Khan's assault and ultimate heroics are going to work within the game, but her support ability is still a mystery. It's also cool to point out that we did see small glimpses of both of these abilities in action during the most recent New York Comic Con trailer, but now it's great that we have a full breakdown as to how they're going to work. But I guess we're just going to have to work with what we've been provided so far, and given what the Marvel's Avengers Twitter page does state, Kamala utilizes her newfound powers in ways that will stretch her own imagination. No matter how tough the enemy is, Kamala's assault heroic has the unique property of being able to stop an enemy in its tracks and even send them flying. Kamala focuses all of her energy into her right hand, creating a massive palm able to shove even the most formidable of enemies with astounding force. So as I just said, and what we clearly saw in the trailer, we did see this move in action, and it does look like it's going to be very powerful once we continue to upgrade it throughout the game's story. And surely, seeing how impactful this move looks at the beginning of the game, I'm sure that it'll get even stronger with even more upgrades down the line. This could either range from having the damage increase when attacking the enemies with this move, or possibly having her arm reach even farther than what it usually could. Although the one issue that I do have with this move so far is how it was visually showcased in the game, because the animation that it does have does look a little bit wonky to say the least. And even though we don't know for sure whether or not the game is still in the pre-alpha stages of development, I just really hope that they fully polish this move by the time the game does release. But moving on from what Kamala's assault heroic ability is going to be, we now have a full-on analysis as to what her heroic ability is going to be instead. And to be honest, it does sound like it's going to work a bit differently compared to the other ultimate heroics that we have seen so far. But as the Twitter page states, Kamala's ultimate heroic Embiggen pushes her polymorphic ability to its limits by dramatically increasing her size and strength for a short duration. Kamala towers over the entire battlefield while Embiggen, gaining access to an all-new suite of attacks and abilities. And not only is she highly resistant to damage while Embiggen, all of her attacks also benefit from dramatically increased impact and damage, causing even the most sturdy of opponents to seem defenseless. Hashtag embrace your powers, hashtag reassemble. So instead of just being a giant area of effect attack like what we have seen with Captain America and Hulk, Kamala's ultimate ability actually gives her a giant stat boost while also increasing her size and strength tenfold. And not only is this ability going to be super fun to use in general, but I'm really curious to see how that's going to look in a co-op environment with playing with a plethora of your friends. And of course, given the description of this ultimate heroic ability, I can see that the upgrades could possibly be relating to increasing the duration of this ability in its effect, as well as having the strength of it be even bigger than what it already was. And finally, regarding the most mysterious ability so far is the fact that they didn't describe at all what her support ability is going to be within the Avengers project. Out of all the possibilities I can think of, I believe it could be something similar to what Captain America's support ability is, where it could mark enemies that you are fighting while also giving your teammates stat boost to take them down. Or, as another option, I could see her using her giant polymorphic abilities to try and reach out and take out other enemies surrounding her in order to protect the other teammates on your roster. But based off everything that we have heard so far from the Twitter page, as well as people who have actually gotten to play as Kamala Khan at New York Comic Con themselves, I'm very much looking forward to seeing how she's actually going to play within the game, and crossing my fingers that her story role is going to be that of an important one. But if it turns out that she's just thrown within this game's story just to be a bit different from the MCU and nothing else, then I'll be a bit agitated with how her role will be portrayed within the game. But with all that said, everyone, that's the video I have for you today, and please let me know all your thoughts in the comment section down below. What do you think about the assault and ultimate heroic abilities for Kamala Khan within Marvel's Avengers, and are you personally excited that she's going to be within the game? Even though I'm personally going to be maining Thor the majority of the game, I'm still very curious to try out her moveset once we do unlock her during the story. And with all that said, everyone, thank you all so much for watching, stay merry Marvelites, and peace out.
Cap was murdered!
You think I don't know that? I've replayed that day in my head 1,000 times. Guess what? No one cares! The world needed someone to blame, and he gave them their scapegoat. So, unless you have some kind of astounding proof, I suggest you both get off my land. What is that?
Proof.